check-in. You know, you go through these lines to be checked for a security checkpoint, and a lot of attention is being given to those areas of the terminals after what has happened overseas, most recently in Turkey, the area where the attacks took place there. Chad, do you think we should change, and this is what's come up the last few days, I know we're a reactive culture. After something happens, we look and say, oh, well, we won't want that exact thing to happen again, so let's change it. Should we, though, take a look at airport security and the way it's constructed?
I tell you what, if we go down that route, we're just going to continue this false narrative that we can add additional security levels and layers, and that will somehow keep Americans safe. And that's a false premise. From a financial standpoint, we can't continue to do it, and from a morale standpoint, we just can't continue to do it. What we need our leadership to do is to call out what we are at, and we are at war with this Islamic radical ideology that ISIS adheres to. And until we identify that as our threat and look at that, you know, ISIS is often described as these 7th century barbarians. Well, let's look at the 7th century and let's look at that Islamic ideology that was going on during that time frame to really understand the threat that we face. 632 AD to 750 AD is when the first caliphate was established by Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and then followed by Ali. There has never been an organization to replicate the first caliphate as literally and as figuratively as ISIS is doing today. And that's the root of the problem, and that's where we need to take a look to keep us safe.
Let me pick up on that they're the most dangerous of all these terrorist groups. I just want to pass along, as we speak, a piece of breaking news that I'm just being alerted to from overseas. This is coming from the State Department, that there appears to be a, quote, hostage situation in Bangladesh. This is in the capital of Bangladesh, and the reports are, the U.S. Embassy over there is telling us this, of a shooting and a hostage situation, and they are advising all of their people and anybody seeing these tweet is where we're seeing it, to shelter in place and just keep an eye on the news. So we don't know much more about it now, other than there is this situation appears to be a shooting and or a hostage situation developing at this hour over in Bangladesh. But you were saying, I mean, you can pick up on that, Chad, if you want, but you were saying that ISIS to you is even more dangerous than any of these other organizations. I mean, that's quite a statement when you think about it, but you obviously have studied the history, as you showed us there a moment ago. Does part of that, you know, play into the fact that now they have spread out so much with the, and I'm just reading a tweet from the State Department, but they've used social media and other things to spread out so much that it's not just their own quote-unquote soldiers that are doing it. It's, you know, anybody who's inspired by them that's doing it.
Well, yes, and speaking of Bangladesh, we have seen that ISIS actually has cells in Bangladesh, and they have been conducting terrorist attacks there. So they're spreading to the east from outside of Raqqa and outside of Iraq. But why ISIS is so successful in this caliphate is because if you look at the Caliph, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, he's of the Qurayshi tribe, the same tribe of Muhammad, and that's one of the prerequisites in order to authenticate this caliphate. So individuals who are Muslim and are fundamental in their cause and follow ISIS, they see that as a legitimate cause to go ahead and join alliance.
Okay, so, and then this will be the final thing, because where we started with this, and I actually, it's very interesting to hear everything that you've studied up on it, but we started with was airport security, right? And it's funny, and should we be changing it? And you say no. It's just, it kind of just misses the point completely, right? Is this nothing we should be doing differently domestically, though? Or?
I mean, here's the thing. That's a Band-Aid on a gushing chest wound. Yeah. I mean, that's just a distraction. To continue adding layers upon layers of security at our public transit locations is not going to keep Americans safe.
So your idea is go in and get
Islamic
them,
ideology.
Right? Go in, but go in and get them where they are. Go into places like Syria and Iraq and other places. Is what you'd be advocating for.
Yeah, unleash the wrath of the United States military and our domestic law enforcement agencies to root them wherever they are, hunt them down and kill them.
The latest, by the way, from the State Department is that all the U.S. citizens working under the chief of mission there in Bangladesh have been accounted for, I believe. It's a fluid situation, but we'll give you any update we know on that overseas. And Chad, thank you for coming on today. We appreciate it.